Hey, have you ever needed to create a sales presentation, but you just didn't know what to say? Or have you delivered a webinar and nobody bought what you had to offer? Listen, if you sell technology and need to create a sales presentation, a webinar, a marketing brochure, or speak at a live event, then you'll want to see this episode of IoT Playbook, where I show you the exact step-by-step framework for developing a presentation that will help turn prospects into customers. So just head on over to podcast.iotplaybook.com and search for episode 6, where I'll show you the actual playbooks IoT managed service providers are using to make 6 and 7 figures of IoT managed services today. All right. So if you've ever been stuck staring at a blank screen trying to figure out what to write, especially if you're dealing with, in the context here, an IoT solution, I've got the perfect framework for you, and I call it the Playbook framework. Okay, IoT Playbook. So here's what you do. Okay, so each letter of the word playbook becomes part of your framework. Okay, so first thing, you're going to start with the problem. What problem are you solving? Next thing you got to do is the loss. Okay, so what loss will your clients experience if they don't solve it? Okay, aspiration. What will they gain if they do solve the problem? And yes, story of a client who said, yes, this is a great time to enter a case study or something like that. Or it's also a good time to get your prospect to say yes to saying, once they see the case study, and you can say, hey, would you like to see how this all works, the business model? Yes. And they go to the next deal, which is the business model. Okay. And this is where I see a lot of people make mistakes. And I'm talking about vendors who are making, IoT vendors who are making presentations to potential partners to attract them in, or partners who are making potential, presentations to their prospects. Okay. What happens, instead of focusing on the business side of it, sometimes they slide right into the technical stack too quickly before the client or prospect has any idea about how the business model works. So we focus on the business model. What is the business model, what you're proposing? And then an offer, an example of an offer. Okay. So if this were a vendor presentation to potential channel partners, you want to say, hey, here's what that client, maybe even in your case study, here's what that offer looked like to them. Okay. And then what offer am I making now on this presentation? If you're doing a presentation without beginning with the end in mind, that's a mistake. So you're making an offer right now. Could be click the button below, schedule this free strategy session, or buy this product, or whatever the case might be. And that is the call to action. Yeah, I know. Call to action. The word call spelled with C, but you get what I'm saying. What do you want this person to do that's watching your presentation right now? Now, let me give you an example of that. Okay. So let's go through the whole thing for a new regulation that's coming up. And I just went through a webinar with my devices, and they use this example. Okay. So this is a real live example. Problem: the new 2020 panic button regulation for hotels with 60 or more rooms. That's here. It's starting in January 1. Loss. Well, hey, in Washington, which the law, HB 1756, says if you don't implement this new panic button system of some sort, you could get a fine between $5,000 and $70,000 for each violation. Ooh, that would be a potential big loss. Aspiration. Hey, if you get this all figured out, you're going to avoid those fines, which would be great, but you're going to have safer employees, and you're also going to create peace of mind with those employees and yourself as a business owner. Yes. Well, an example might be a case study. Hey, we put this system in this hotel, and they now are all set and ready to go. It was super simple to implement. In fact, let me show you a video. And in fact, they actually did show a video of an actual client case study. Business model. Hey, if you're interested in this, this is sold as a service. Okay, so it has a gateway, it has buttons, has training and support. All that's packaged together with a monthly recurring fee, based on the number of devices. Okay. Now let me and what we can do is make that offer available to you in a trial solution for 30 days. Okay. And if we accept it, we do the full rollout. So there's an example of an offer to a client. Now, what I'm offering you right now is a free 30-minute strategy with an expert who can walk you through and answer all your questions. So what I need you to do right now is click the button below and schedule your free strategy session. That's the K. So you can just see I walk through the whole playbook framework. Now you may be asking, hey, but I'm not a vendor. I'm a channel partner or reseller or whatnot. I'm a new managed IoT managed service provider. No problem. It is the same exact framework. You go with a problem. What problem are you solving? So now you're talking to your prospect. What's the loss? Well, especially if it's a regulation, they may not even be aware of what some of the fines and penalties are, but hey, you let them know what those are. Aspiration, what will they gain if they solve it? Okay. Yes. Give a case study. Now you say, well, I'm new to this. I may not have a case study. No problem. The vendor partner you're working with probably has a case study, or you can partner up with another IoT managed service provider who does have a case study, one way or the other. Or you could even just cite somebody else's success story. Okay. Those will all work. And again, you say, once they get interested in that, you're telling the story around a client who said yes. Then you say, hey, would you like to understand the business side of how this works? Yes, I would. Then you go to the B. What's the business model offer to clients? And then the offer you're making right now to whoever you're talking to. Again, it could be a free strategy session or whatnot. Okay. And then the call to action. What do you want them to do right now? So anyway, if you're ever stuck, this is a great framework to start with. It sure the heck beats a blank sheet of paper or a blank screen. Now, I'm going to throw out a challenge for you guys right now. This applies to anybody. If you're a partner who's selling IoT, or you are a vendor who's looking for partners and selling IoT solutions, here's my challenge. I'd love to see real life examples of presentation outlines using this playbook framework. And if you send those to me at mark@iotplaybook.com, I will review them and you could possibly be a guest presenting your solution on a future episode of IoT Playbook, which would be an amazing way to get in front of your potential partners in the future. Okay. So again, I've got notes below. If you go to the blog site, you can go get a nice clean copy of the playbook framework, but it wasn't too difficult. It should be easy for you to memorize and put into practice. And in future episodes, I'll talk about the playbook framework and give you more examples that you can use. So with that, I hope you take the challenge and I hope you enjoy this episode. Let me know in the, by sending me an email with your playbook example, or I appreciate any kind of rating or anything on the podcast or system that you use. Okay. Thanks.